Hey guys, it's Terry Porter, your life and leadership coach. Today we're going to talk about precise communication. Today we're going to talk about precise communication, and it's valuable in all of your key relationships, whether it's professional, your personal life, intimate relationships. We got to use precise communication. That's one of Jordan Peterson's 12 rules for life, is using precise communication. Let me start with a story. Several years ago, my kids were young. It was a Saturday morning. I want you to envision yourself sitting on a couch, 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning, beautiful Saturday in northern Michigan in June. Kids have been fed. They're watching Saturday morning cartoons. My wife is in bed. She loves to sleep in on Saturday mornings, and I have my mountain biking gear on. My mountain bike is set up on the car, ready to go. I am heading out for an epic ride, probably 30, 35 miles. I am like, the endorphins are kicking in. I can't wait to go. As I get into the car, my wife rushes into the garage, big smile on her face, and she's looking at me and says, "Terry, today is the big subdivision sale. I can't wait to get out there." And her eyes catch my eyes, and our faces drop. She knows I'm leaving. I can see that she's leaving, and we're both very frustrated with each other at that moment, because who's going to watch the kids while we're gone? Someone's going to be sad at this moment. Let's go back in time. Night before, we're both communicating what we want to do on Saturday, and we made assumptions. Jen says, "Hey, Terry, tomorrow I'm going yard sailing." In my mind, because I said she likes to sleep in on Saturdays, I'm thinking she's not going until 10, 11 a.m. In her mind, when I say I'm going mountain biking, she's like, well, he never exercises in the morning. He's probably going to go in late afternoon. So there's no conflict. But the thing is, for her, the best time to go yard sailing is 7 a.m., 8 a.m., right when those folks put their stuff out, and she can get first dibs on the items that she's wanting to get. For me, I'd set up a time to go mountain biking with the guys, and long story short, I had to give them a call and say, I'm not going to make it this week. And it taught us both a big lesson. It taught us to be very precise in our communication on what we wanted to do. So here's a question for you. Have you ever experienced frustration because someone didn't clearly communicate with you? What was your feeling? What was your frustration in that moment? Why don't you put that in the comment section below? What was that incident? Be very vague. You don't have to be precise in that, because we don't want to throw anyone under the bus. But what was that feeling you had when someone didn't clearly communicate with you? So what does it mean to clearly communicate? Well, we need to articulate our thoughts, our needs, and our expectations clearly to the person who's listening to us. We need to avoid being vague and ambiguous in our conversation. Be very crystal clear in what you're saying, with the details, with the facts, with your needs, and with the expectations. Let me give you some examples in both a professional setting and a personal setting. First of all, in a professional setting, maybe you have to give clear instructions on a project. Here's how it might play out. You might say something like this: please submit your report by Friday at 3 p.m. and please include these 3 important points in your report. That's very clear. It's precise. There's details in there of what the expectation is and what is to be included in that report. Here's another one. Maybe it's providing constructive feedback. It might sound something like this: hey, I notice you struggle with deadlines. Let's start working together weekly and set up a plan so that you can reach those goals in a timely manner. So again, it's clear. You're not doing this, and we're going to work together when? Weekly. In fact, I might even add, we're going to meet together weekly at Friday at 3 p.m., and we're going to review your projects that you're currently working on so that you can start setting right goals to meet those expectations. Maybe it's in a relationship, and you have some needs. In fact, my wife had this with me a couple years ago. She started working a part-time job on Wednesdays, and she said to me, "Terry, I need you to get the kids from school on Wednesdays, and I need you to prepare dinner on Wednesdays because when I get home from work, I'm exhausted and I just need some time to relax. She is crystal clear on her expectations. Now, here's what's interesting. The first week, I dropped the ball on everything, and she came back with another precise and clear communication with me. Terry, I'm frustrated. I gave you clear instructions on what I needed from you last week, and you dropped the ball. I'm exhausted. I don't have any more bandwidth to give on a Wednesday. I need you to help me out. You know what? I dropped the ball one time, and since then, I've done a fantastic job on meeting her expectations because I want to. I want to have good relationship there with my wife. All right, let me give you some action steps. Let's bring this in for a landing. Let me give you some action steps. First of all, number one, think before you speak. It's important that you think about what you want to say and why you want to say it. And in fact, here's how you can do it better. As someone is talking to you, you shouldn't be thinking about what you want to say next. Instead, you should be listening to what they're saying. When they're done talking, then maybe rephrase what you heard them say and then reply with your rebuttal to their statements. Here's the second thing. Use I statements instead of we statements. That's going to be very precise in your communication. For example, don't use this. I'm not throwing my wife under the bus, but this is a funny thing that we joke about in our house. Terry, we need to do the dishes. Now, the way our kitchen is set up, it's a one-man job. So when she's saying we need to do the dishes, it's not a two-person job. She actually means you need to do the dishes. I want you to do the dishes. And I make fun of that and we joke about it, but that's what she means. Terry, I want you to do the dishes. I practiced this actually yesterday with my son. Driving him home from school yesterday, because yesterday was Wednesday in our calendar. And when we got home from school, I said, Aiden, I want you to shovel the driveway before I get back from the grocery store. So I dropped him off. I understand that he has some things that he wants to do when he gets home from school. He wants to relax a little bit, maybe listen to some music, get a snack. And I told him I'll be home from the store around 4:30 p.m. So he had time to do his free time, but also to get the job done. When I pulled back into the driveway at 4:30, the driveway was nearly complete. He had just had a little bit of stuff to complete, but I clearly communicated to him what I wanted, and he was able to follow through on that. Number three, be specific. Be specific with the details and avoid vague phrases. Again, that we need to do this. We should do something about that. Well, those are all vague. We need to be crystal clear on what we want and what we need and what we're going to be doing. Here's number four, practice the feedback loop. So as each of us are talking, I should be listening to what you're saying. After you're done talking, I should repeat back to you what I heard you say, and then I share my thoughts, and then you listen to what I'm saying, and then you repeat it back to me. In fact, in my marriage coaching practice, here's what I teach my clients to use. I teach them to use this phrase, what did you hear me say? I use this with my clients, but I also teach that to my clients to help them to communicate clearly to each other. Sometimes we think we're communicating to our spouse or to our loved ones or to our coworkers, and they're hearing something totally different because of their own backstory that's going on in their life. So sometimes we have to have tough conversations with people, and they hear something negative, and we weren't being negative at all. So I like to say, after a tough conversation especially, I like to say, hey, what did you hear me say there? And that gives me feedback on how I communicated to them, and then I can adjust that conversation. Finally, the last point is this, practice, practice, practice. Practice clear and concise and precise communication. How do you do it? I like what Pat Lencioni talks about in his book, Death by Meeting. He talks about the daily huddle. And in the home life, I call it the daily connect time. It's a 5-minute daily conversation that you either have with your team. I did this when I was a pastor at a church every day. We met for 5 minutes, And that 5 minutes, we talked about what we're going to accomplish that day, what projects we're working on, what we need from the other staff members. And then we spent a minute in prayer of dedicating our day to the Lord. In our home setting, we call it the daily connect time. The way it works in my household is when I get home from work, my wife and I will go to the bedroom. We sit in the same spot in the bedroom. We look eye to eye. We share our highs and lows for the day. But then we also share, hey, what do you need me to do around the house? What's the game plan for tomorrow with the kids and picking them up from school, taking them to school, picking them up from school? What are the things that you want to do on the weekend? We have that conversation. Usually by Wednesday, we have that conversation, what's going to happen on Saturday, so that no one is, it's not vague on what the plan is. And then finally, we just maybe give each other a quick hug, and then we get back to work in the household of running a safe household. All right, here's what I'd like from you. I'd like you to think about how are you going to apply precise communication in your life today. If you have a thought from this lesson, if you have a thought about what stood out to you, put it down in the comment section below. Also, please check out my blog. There's a link below for that. I have over 400 articles on personal life, professional life, and the key relationships on how you can improve all those areas of your life. Finally, I'd like to invite you to do coaching with me. We can meet online, or if you're local here in Traverse City, love to meet you. There's a link below where you can set up a consultation. It's a free consultation if you've never worked with me before. If you're a former client, click the link and set up a coaching session with me. I'd love to work with you. We can meet, again, like I said, Zoom, or we can meet personally here in Traverse City. Hey, guys, remember this. You are loved. I appreciate you. If you could do me a quick favor, would you like, subscribe, and if this video is meaningful to you, please share it with your friends. I'd really appreciate it. That helps me out a lot. Guys, you're loved. God bless.